Because conservative ideologies are rarely supported by science, conservative politicians and pundits have to figure out a way to convince their voters that they don't have to listen to science, which is literally just understanding the world. And they do this using labels. The first one is bias. Bias is not just when the results of a study support political beliefs. When a scientific study comes back and says, yeah, climate change is real and directly caused by humans burning fossil fuels, and yeah, bringing people out of poverty lowers crime rates. Those things being supported by scientific data does not mean that scientific data is biased. That's an incorrect use of that term. Now, I think you're getting the cause and the effect mixed up, right? You're saying science is biased towards the left, whereas the reality is leftists just tend to base their ideologies in the science and in the statistics. So it's going to seem biased if your idea of what bias is just supporting a political ideology that's not yours. Bias is something that would be affecting your data set such that an analysis of it that doesn't factor in that bias is not going to draw the conclusions that you think you can draw, right? An example would be if I told you 100% of people in America believe that Trump is a good president. Hopefully, you would say, well, that's not right. Even if you are conservative, you'd say, well, there's definitely people in America who don't think Trump is a good president. That's a good critical thinking question. And those are the kinds of questions you need to ask every time you hear something or read a headline. And so the question then you would say is, well, where did you get that number? And then I told you, I went to a Trump rally and I asked every single person there, and every single person said, yes, Trump is a good president. Hopefully your bias alarm is on high alert because, well, yeah, you went to a Trump rally and asked people. You can't say that the people at a Trump rally are representative of every American. That's called finding a sample size that represents your population. And that's what I talk a lot about in the statistics rants. Conservatives have heard actual scientific experts use the term bias to say that a scientific study is one that we can't trust or one that we can't use. And then they just apply that to any time a scientific study doesn't support their worldview. And that's not bias. Another way they use labels is by saying, look, sometimes, and this is true, one or a few scientific studies or one or a few scientists can be bought and paid for. A study can be funded by an organization that wants to see the results come out a certain way. And so conservatives would have you believe that because one or a few scientific studies have been bought or influenced by money, well, you don't have to listen to any of them. If you label it as science or experts, I know that things with science and expert labels can be bought sometimes, so I don't have to listen to that because they're in the same category. It's a really effective propaganda tool to teach you that you don't have to listen to what the experts are saying. First of all, this isn't how we do statistics because that's not representative of the larger scheme of things. That's the small minority.